This is a verse to go along with chapters 10 and 11, but it actually reviews some of the things that you learned in chapter 9. So we're actually going to read a little bit bigger passage than normally we read, but I want you to see that you're progressing a lot more than maybe you even realized. So this is from Matthew, and we're trying again some other parts of the New Testament just so you get a feel for different writers and can see some things, and I think hopefully it encourages you to try things out yourself. This is from Matthew chapter 7. And we're going to look at verses 17 to 20, but we'll kind of fly through some of it. So let's try it and see how we do. Let's start in verse 17, and I'll just read one verse, and you read after me. Hutos pan dendron agathon. I should have read it all together. Pan dendron agathon. They go together. Carpus calus poie. Ta de sapron dendron. Carpus ponerus poie. Yeah, so the word that you're going to know right away, hopefully, is agathon, which agrees with dendron. Agathon comes from the adjective agathos, which means good. So it says, thus every good dendron is a tree. Every good tree. And then poie means to make. So let's look at the word right before the comma. So it means every good tree makes calus carpus. Carpus is fruit. Calus is describing it. Every good tree makes good fruit. De, do you see how that's post-positive, the second word? But ta sapron, sorry, that's an unusual word, dendron. But the evil tree, poie, makes carpus ponerus. Ponerus, that's a word that you know. Yep, evil fruit. So it's very repetitive. Let's look at the next couple of verses that have some similar words that just repeat over and over again. Once you know those words, you can do the rest of this passage. Dunatai, dendron agathon, carpus ponerus, poiein, ude, dendron sapron, carpus calus, poiein. Okay, here the subject is actually the dendron agathon because it's a neuter. So a neuter is the accusative and the nominative are the same form. So here it's the good tree, is not, and do you know dunatai? Dunatai is to be able. So the good tree is not able, and then poiein is in the infinitive. You haven't seen any infinitives really yet. But it literally is to, what so many of you want to do to every single verb. Here's finally a verb that you can do to. So to make. So it's the good tree is not able to make carpus ponerus, which would be like evil fruit. De. So the de is what you know as but, and is what you know as not. Together it means nor. Nor dendron sapron, nor the evil tree, poiein, take the last word, to make carpus calus, good fruit. So the good tree is not able to make bad fruit or evil fruit, and the evil tree is not able to make good fruit. Try a couple more. We can do this. Try it with me. Pan dendron, me poiun, carpon kalon, ekoptetai, kai, aspor volatai. Do you notice that there's two endings here that you just learned in your last lesson, lesson 9, and that will kind of be repeated in lesson 10? The bal etai is what person number in singular? Well, I mean, what person number in gender? Gender we may not know yet, but it's a person in number. It's third person singular. It could be masculine, it could be feminine, it could be neuter. And balatai means it's an active verb, or it's it's one of these middle passive verbs. So let's back up and read all of verse 19. So 19, pan means all. I should have said that earlier. But it means all or every. In this case, it means every. So every tree, every dendron. Main poiun, which is another form of that same verb that we've been looking at, and main is a different word that means not. So every tree that does not make karpon, kalon, good fruit, ekaptatai. Let's start there too. Ekaptatai. Same question that I asked you about the balatai. What person and number? Third person singular. And then the rest of the way that you parse it is you say, is it present? We'll learn some other cases. I mean, right now we're going to learn, not cases, but tenses. We'll learn some other tenses. We'll learn imperfect in this lesson, and then we'll learn future. We'll learn several other tenses. But right now you only know present ones. So this is present. Is it active or passive? Passive, and for now it's indicative. Those are the only things you know. So the good tree is cut down. That's what it means. And is bal etai. So balo is to throw, and balatai is thrown. So it's the tree that is thrown. Ace pour, into the fire. And then let me just read the last part so you know it. Arage, apo, tone, carpone, altone, epigenoseste, autus. So look at this one. You don't know quite the form of this, but put your finger over the next to the last word. Put your finger over everything but the last four letters. Epsilon, sigma, theta, epsilon. That's something new you've just learned. And it's like the y'all form, the you plural form. And so basically this means from their fruit. So arange, so indeed, from their fruit. Apotone, carpone, altone, from their fruit. Epigenoseste, it's a future. You will know, or y'all will know. Autus, them. I'll back up and I'll just give you the English translation so you can see it, starting in verse 17. In 17 it says, thus every good tree produces good fruit, but the bad tree produces evil fruit. Verse 18. A good tree, or any good tree, I guess you could say, because there's no definite article. A good tree is not able to produce evil fruit, nor an evil tree to make good fruit, or to produce. Every tree that does not make good fruit is cut down and is thrown into the fire. Verse 20. Indeed, from their fruit y'all will know them. It's a long passage. There's a lot of really repeating words. What I would zero in on, though, if I were you, is look at those endings that are passive. That's what I'm trying to help you see. That's what you learned in chapter 9. In chapters 10 and 11, then go to the imperfect. The imperfect have a lot of these similar endings, and so that should help you out a little bit. So I hope that this is beginning to click, and if not, it's okay. Just sit with it, keep working with it, and it will click before you know it. And then the pieces will start coming together. Okay, great.